not know. Their enthusiasm lodged itself somewhere deep inside of me, growing steadily, filling me with hope. I was a freshman, insecure and unknown. This was my opportunity to be somebody. "This is your time to stand strong for your faith at the pole," the kids in the video said. "See you there." In retrospect, that first "see you at the pole" event with its bloated circle of students stirs a feeling I can't quite place. Pity, compassion, frustration, nostalgia. So much has happened since then. I almost can't remember what it felt like to be that girl. The one with the long blonde ponytail streaking down her back. The skinny girl with the "see you at the pole" t-shirt billowing in the wind. The shy one. The unsure one. I almost can't remember what it felt like to be caught in that moment, pulled into something big and important. A firestorm of prayer, a wind system capable of so much power. What I do remember is that I was supposed to have my head bowed. I was supposed to be concentrating on Jesus, but my head was half raised, my eyes wide. I was counting the ever-growing number of students. I was trying to memorize their faces before they disappeared back into the anonymity of our 2,000-some student body like rocks thrown back into a rolling sea. I kept thinking, there are so many of us. And I believed in some deep part of me that if we just prayed hard enough on this one special day, something big and wild would sweep the locker-lined halls of my high school. Revival. This is how I saw it. A wooden cross set up in the school foyer. People bringing their drugs and their cigarettes and their water bottles filled with stolen drags of vodka and leaving it all there, leaving it in the hands of Jesus. The details of the whole thing weren't totally clear to me. I'd never actually seen drugs, and though I'd heard rumors about the vodka water bottles, the idea was confusing to me. The word bong was not in my vocabulary. The mechanics of drug and alcohol use, the punchlines of dirty jokes and sexual innuendo, these were not the things I understood. But at 14, I was aware of the way they separated me from everyone else. I was aware of the way they made me invisible while I fumbled with the combination to my locker, the words of my classmates soaring high over my head. If they came to Jesus, these people in this school, none of that would matter anymore. We would all speak a common language. "Hey, how was your walk with God?" they would say, and they would be asking me, and I would be able to tell them. They would want to know how I did it, how I always kept my faith so strong. They would sit with me in the cafeteria, buy me one of those melty chocolate chip cookies from under the heat lamp, ask me about the Bible. I would answer with a knowing smile. My hair would have that glossy magazine model look. Everything would be different. On the wall of my basement bedroom, I had taped a newspaper article from the 1997 See You at the Pole event. The article was about another school in a nearby Chicago suburb, Prospect High School. That was where my sort of boyfriend, Chris Jacobson, went, where he was a senior, where he led the school Bible study, where he swaggered down the hall, chin up, buoyed by the chemical substance of his faith. In the article's accompanying photograph, Chris stood front and center. With one hand, he held his student study Bible open, his palm steady. His other hand was caught by the shutter in mid-gesture, his fingers frozen in mid-air, forever emphasizing the point. Around him, there was a circle much like the one I'd been standing in at that very moment at Buffalo Grove High School. But in the picture, the students were blurred beyond recognition. They were gray, fuzzy figures. They belonged to the background. The flagpole was the point of the picture. Chris, his face intent on some other world, he was the point. His blonde hair parted in the middle and flopped bowl cut style on either side of his head. He could almost be mistaken for a young boy if it weren't for the intensity in his face. I spent many afternoons during my freshman year sitting on my bed, staring at that article. I memorized the picture so completely that even now, 15 years later, when I think about